guys? This is Mini-Me. I'm on my lunch break in my car, and I thought I'd go ahead and make this video about me hitting 500 subscribers. That is absolutely amazing. I appreciate every single one of you for liking my videos and sharing my videos. If you have not subscribed, please do so. I greatly do appreciate it. I'll go ahead and release a video today. I hope you guys enjoy it. Other than that, have yourself a good day. Peace out.
First thing what we're going to talk about is the power. As you guys noticed, I have about 24,000 power. This is just normal with all my enchantments and everything that I got going on. Once my twisted weapons kick in, once you read the description in there, pretty much it stacks up and it gives you an additional 4,000 more power. I'm very close to unlocking my main hand, so therefore I can stick another rank 12 radiant in there and get another 700 power. Same thing for my offhand. Go ahead and pull that up. And I was almost close. I'm just waiting for the February the 12th, which is going to be double refining points. I'll be able to stick another 700 in there, and that should equal up to an additional of 1,400 more power. That would bring me to about 26,000 power and some change. And then once my twisted weapons kick in, as I'm fighting the opponent in PvP, an extra 4,000 more will bring me up to 30,000 power, which is pretty good because that is my main focus, is to get my power as high as possible. You guys had a lot of questions as far as what I'm using for my enchantments. I have rank 12 radiance that provides 700 power on each offense slots that's available for me at this time. And then for my defense slots is what I have is Ezra's rank 10s and 11s. So with that being said, I also use the Ring of Brutality, which is a +4. I've been trying to get to +5, but this one gives you an extra 4,000 more power for 8 seconds. Adding everything together between my enchantments, the artifacts, the twisted weapons, and the Brutality Ring, when I'm fighting in PvP, my power spikes up to about 30,000. Let's go ahead and give it a shot, guys, so you can see it for yourself what I'm talking about. You guys got to remember that in PvP you get some additional power when you're next to your teammates. As you can see, that went up to 28,000. Normally in PvP is about 31,000. Alright, so the Ring of Brutality also works when you're tagging the enemy without even striking them at all. All you gotta do is tag them and it just bumps it up to 28,000. You get that extra 4,000 more power. Alright guys, this is all there is for all the powers, enchantments. Let's go ahead and talk about the feats, okay?
Your team dominates.
Let's go ahead and click on the feats. And the first one that I picked was the action point gain. I only chose 3. The reason being is because as long as my encounter powers do a lot of damage, I'm not really worried about action point gain that much. The second one I picked was the strength focus, gives you an additional 15% on strength. And then the third one I picked is the toughness, which this one gives you 9% hit points. I skipped the 2 top and then picked the bottom one, which is armor. This one increases your armor and defense class by an additional 15%. It's very important you pick that one. And then I picked the middle one, which what this does, it gives you an additional 10% more damage on your encounter powers, and it also gives you damage into your at will. The last one I picked is the critical chance, 3%. That's important, all the crit you can get. Alright, starting at the top, I picked the top one, which is improved vigor or whatever you want to call it. This one gives you a 10% action point when you're below 50% health. Important. When you have temporary hit points, you deal an additional 15 more damage. As a GF, you always have hit points, especially when you do Into the Fray. And then the third one I picked at the top is this one does an additional 750 more weapon damage over time. when you do a critical hit. So, you know, if somebody has low health, and you hit them, the chances are they're probably going to bleed to death. I don't use that. I picked the Christian Shield. What this does right here, this power, is that when you're attacking the enemy as you're defending yourself and you're attacking them over the shield, that does an additional 20% more damage, and it also refills your stamina. I picked the combat superiority. The reason why is because I use that under my personal class. And this one says that you do 10% damage when the enemy hits you. However, when you activate the feat up here, you don't have to wait for the enemy to attack you. And of course, I picked the last one, which is very important. Alright, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in the middle. Under Protector, I picked the top one. Says while stamina is below 30%, you take 10% less damage from all sources. Okay, so it's all about defense, not worried about deflect. Jumping in the bottom section here under Tactician, it says encounter cooldowns reduced by 10%. To be honest, rather pick the cooldown than the shield defense, which a lot of people pick the shield defense rather, which give you an extra 5 AC. The encounter cooldowns, I feel that's more important because it does help you out when you need those encounter powers to cool down. Let's jump into boons, and the first one is going to be Shanandar, and I picked the Dark Fae at the bottom, which is 400 more power instead of the defense. And then I picked the Fae Precision, which is 400 critical strike instead of the deflect. And then I also picked the Elven, which gives you 3% action point gain instead of the HP, 1600. With this one, I went with the Elven. It refills you up to 20,000 hit points when you are hit. And this kicks in every 60 seconds. When I say 60 seconds, every hit that you take counts as 1 second. So if somebody's doing a lot of damage to you and they're hitting you a lot of times, that 1 minute goes rather quick. And then I picked the top one, which gives you a 10% stamina. I did not pick the Fae. The reason being is because it only does 3,000 damage in return. You know, this used to be good back then when everybody had 20,000 hit points. Nowadays, everybody has over 100,000 and above. Let's go with the Dread Ring. I picked the first one. Alright, this one gives you 250 power and movement. I skipped the crit one. And then for the second row, I picked the regeneration for 400 instead of the lifesteal. I know a lot of you can debate that one as well, but what's going on is that regeneration kind of helps you out when you're out of the combat and you can heal while you're waiting or whatever the case may be. The third row, I picked resistance, 3% instead of the deflect. I've tried the deflect, I really didn't notice any difference. So I rather went with the resistance. I feel it's better. For the bottom one, which is the Shadow Touch, this one works great in PvP, guys. You really do that 20,000 damage. The top one doesn't work in PvP. That only works in PvE. I've noticed that the top one only works when you fall off the edge and you get hurt. It refills you up with 20,000 hit points. And then the last one, you have a chance to steal 3 times as much health from the enemy. Let's go to the Icewind Dale. As you guys can notice, I picked all the bottom ones. And the first one at the bottom gives you 400 combat advantage. The top one gives you 400 AoE resistance. We'll talk about the reason why I chose combat advantage on the next campaign once we get there. Alright, so moving on to the second boon. This one gives you 400 stamina gain, and that's the one I picked instead of the incoming healing. And then on a third boon, I picked the critical severity against recovery. I feel that the crit severity is a lot more important because as a GF, my encounter powers do enough damage. I'm not really worried about gaining action point that fast. Alright, this one gives you 2,000 power based on how much stamina you're missing, which is perfect because when you're defending yourself and you have your shield up, your stamina is going down and then your power is going up. And then for the last boon, I picked the very top one, which is Avalanche. This one does up to 15,000 damage to the enemy when they're hitting you, and you stack up to 20 stacks. Alright, that's all there is for this campaign. Let's go ahead and move into the next campaign, which would be the Underdark. Okay, so the first boon gives you 400 power and 1600 hit points. Moving on to the second boon, I picked the crit and hit points instead of life steal, and then on the third boon, I picked the combat advantage damage bonus is increased by 10%, and that's what I was talking about, guys, an extra 10%. I know the regeneration would probably be very useful, but my focus on my build again was to do a lot of damage. For the fourth boon, I'll be picking the top one, which gives you a 5% control resistance, and I'm only 3 hours and 52 minutes away before I unlock. Alright, moving on to the Tyranny of Dragons, the first one at the bottom. I picked all of them at the bottom, and I picked 400 power instead of the hit points. I picked critical strike instead of the deflect. I went ahead and picked the armor pen instead of the defense, and then I also picked regeneration again instead of the life steal. So I did pick the dragon's furry, which gives you a 5% more increased critical severity, and I could have picked dragon grip. However, I feel like more damage is better, even though dragon grip is just as fine, because when you hit the enemies and they're prone, they'll stay prone longer and you have more control against them. But let's go ahead and move on to the PvP campaign, so we can go ahead and take care of that here. Almost done, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I picked the bottom one, which gives you power, and then I picked the bottom one as well, which gives you additional more power, up to 2,000 actually, okay? So the more enemies hit you, the more power you get, and that's a maximum of 5 enemies hitting you 400 power each, meaning that you get a maximum of an extra 2,000 more power. With this one, you get another 400 more power and recovery. I have not unlocked this one yet. I'm very close to doing so. I think I have to play another maybe 2 or 3 Grims, and then I should be all good to go. And the last one, this one is the guild. So if you're in a guild, which I'm in the Black Lotus guild, and let me tell you guys, I want to thank so much Black Lotus. I've been a part of that guild for almost a year and a half now, and it's got to be the best guild that I've ever been into. Everybody works so hard to get all the boons and to get everything going. To give you an example, just this boon up here, which gives you armor pen, that's up to 6,000 more armor penetration. And then the one at the bottom increases your potion healings, and then the defense gives you an extra, I think, between 5,000 to 6,000 more defense. That's all there is to this video, guys. Thanks again so much for watching. Please stay amazing. You guys do encourage me to continue making these videos for you guys. So please remember to share, like, and subscribe. And peace out.
Your team dominates.